So I'm looking at all these cool virtual objects flying around me, but I wish I could interact with them. How do I do that? Well, there's two ways. The first way is with hand tracking, which is very cool for spatial interactions, but it does not work on the Nreal Air, which I'm wearing right now. Also, even if you're with the Nreal Lite, sometimes you just want to use your phone. This is an awesome controller. You can swipe, you can tap, you can twist, you can do all kinds of things. So today, we're going to be learning about how to use your phone controller for developing for the Nreal Air or the Nreal Lite 2. Let's go to Nick, and he's going to dive in. It's going to be a deep dive, so you better be ready. All right, Nick, let's try it out.
Hello everybody, my name is Kanishku Bevarna, also known as Nick. Today's tutorial is about NR SDK phone controller. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to change your NR SDK phone controller, customize it, and also its functionalities. In the end, I will be also teaching you how to make a gamepad kind of structure that allowing you to use your phone controller as a game controller. Without wasting any time, let's get into it. For this tutorial, I'll be using Unity 2020.3.19 F1. I have already installed the NR SDK. By the time I was recording this tutorial, the available SDK version was 1.8.0. I have configured my project to work on the Nreal headset, and if you have any question regarding Nreal SDK installation and project configuration, please check our previous tutorials about it. First, I'm going to go to the NRSDK. Inside demos, you have input virtual controller. And here, I'm going to press play. And this is the game view. The middle is the AR view that we can see through the glasses. And right side is the phone display. And this is going to be our phone controller. As you can see, if you press this hide default controller, you can change the colors by clicking them, change the size, and reset it. The cool thing about NR SDK is that they have already provided an emulator, so you don't need to build it to see what's gonna be look like. Like for example, in this tutorial, the phone controller. So this would allow us to change everything, and then after finalizing, we can build it to the Nreal headset. If you need more information regarding the phone controller and how to customize it, go to Custom Virtual Displayer and open the script called Custom Virtual Controller UI. Inside the script, there is a help URL, and if you go to this link, it's going to open up the Nreal developer page. In here, there are information regarding how to customize your phone controller. For this tutorial, I'll be using some free assets from Unity Asset Store, and one of them is the Skeletal Outlaw by Kevin, and I'm going to use this to make some functions that can be driven from the phone controller. The next one is the joystick pack. I'm going to use this joystick pack to make a multi-touch function to your phone controller that's going to look like a gamepad or a joypad. I'm going to download these assets and I'll be back with you. As you can see, I have already imported the assets to my project, and now for the first part of the video, I'm going to teach you how to use the phone controller and how to change the phone controller and animate the character by using the phone controller UI. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new scene, and then I'm going to get rid of the main camera. I'm going to go to the NR SDK, go to the prefabs. I'm going to need the NR camera rig, NR input, NR virtual displayer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click the virtual displayer and I'm going to unpack completely. And the next thing what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double click it. I'm gonna need to, I have to change the buttons. So I'm gonna go to the virtual controller, canvas, and I'm gonna go to the buttons. I'm gonna select the app and the home button. I'm gonna make it smaller, change the position. I'm gonna put every button on the bottom. And I'm also gonna make the trigger smaller. The next thing is I'm gonna add some new buttons. I'm gonna go to the canvas. I can make a creator empty, and I'm gonna say these are custom buttons. And under that I can add the buttons like new ones. I'm gonna change the sizes, and I'm gonna give the first button damage text. Had to change the size. Yeah. Okay. For right now, we're gonna use only one button, but depending on your project, you can add more buttons. And if I press play, I'm gonna go into the game mode, and as you can see, my customized UI is now already on the right side of my game view. So this is gonna be display in your phone display. So next thing is I need to add some models. Actually, I'm gonna use one model. I'm gonna go to the Kevin's folder, skeleton, go to the prefabs. I'm gonna take this first one, the LOD0. I'm gonna double click it. I'm gonna change his, for right now I can keep him in the middle. I can rotate it. And next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new animator controller. So I'm gonna make a new folder and call this anim. Inside here I'm gonna create a new animator controller. I'm gonna call it skull anim control. And then I'm gonna go to my skeletal outlaw armor, and I'm gonna drag into the controller. So now I have a new controller. So if I open up window, animation, animator. So here I have an animator tab. So here I'm gonna add some animations. So to do that, I'm gonna go to Kevin's folder, and I'm gonna go to the animations, and I'm gonna get the damage 00. And I'm also gonna add the idle, because if the character is in the scene, I want him to be in an idle animation. So I'm gonna make the idle one default state, and I'm gonna change these names because it's kind of long. So right. So now if I go to the scene and if I play it, I can't seem to see it because it's away from my camera. No, it's not away, actually it's on top of it. So what I can do is, like, the cool thing about Nreal is, like, you have the emulator here. You don't need to build it to your phone. Like, in the final phases you can build it, but till then, if you want to do some tests, You can use the shortcut keys, like if I press space and if I click and drag, I can rotate my camera. If I press shift and drag in the game view, I can move my pointer. So it seems like my character is in top of my camera, so I'm gonna change his position so I can see it. If I play it, yeah, he's here. So I can change the position as I like, so I can see it in the game view. So for the convenience, I'm gonna change his position a little bit back. And if I play it, I can see him. But if you want to see him in the game view, you can temporarily switch off the virtual displayer, custom virtual displayer, and then I can reposition it. It's best not to change the camera position, because once after you build into Nreal headset, it's gonna take the 0, 0 position automatically, and it's calculating your own height and position into the 0, 0 position. So it's better not to move the camera, because if you move it here you will be seeing that like it's in a good position, but it's gonna get reset when you go to your headset. Okay, let's play and see. So right now, as you can see, since my virtual displayer is switched off, Nreal is automatically taking its default controller. So make sure that you switch it on and then play it, then you can see your custom phone controller. Next thing you have to do is you have to make a script, so when you press a button, this damage animation gonna play. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new script. Actually, it's a simple script, so I'm gonna call it player controller. Maybe I put like controller1. And it's better to make a new folder called scripts. It's better to, like, it's a good idea always, like, you make a proper folder structure, so you put everything there, and when you're working on your project, and it's better to keep it clean. Okay, now I have a player controller. I'm gonna open the player controller script. It's gonna be really simple. What I'm gonna do is, like, I'm gonna type, first I'm gonna make a game object. So public game object player1. So right now I'm gonna leave this void start and void update for now, because in the next part of the tutorial we're gonna need those void start and void update. So first I'm gonna make a new one called public void. Let's give like anim play. And here I'm gonna make a string, and I'm gonna give a name, clip name, anim clip name. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the player1, dot get component animator, dot play, and I'm gonna play the string name, so it's gonna be anim clip name. It's really simple, so I can reference the script in the button, so I can run any animation through the button press. So I'm gonna save this. So I'm gonna make a new game object. I'm gonna call this player controller, and I'm gonna add this script. So I'm also gonna drag the skeletal outlaw here. So now it's gonna play, it's gonna reference this player's animator. So the next thing I have to do is I'm gonna go to the controller and I have custom buttons. Inside the damage you have this on click function, so you can add a new on click function. I'm gonna drag and drop the player controller from this function, player controller 1, and I'm gonna use anim play. So the string name is gonna be damage 00. So you can copy it. You can copy this name and you can put it into the button to here. So let's see if it's work. So I'm gonna press play. So let's see if I press damage. Oh, now what's happening is like when you press it, like inside the animator, like it stops. So you need to have a transition, like after damage you have to also go back to idle. So to do that, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna go to the animator. So I'm from the damage, I'm gonna make a transition to the idle. So now let's see how it works. So I'm gonna press play, damage, damage. So as you can see, it's really simple. You just add a button and then you just make the script. And when you press this button, now it's gonna play the animation. Your phone controller gonna have this interface, like when you touch this button, it's gonna play the animation. So it's really simple. You can add more buttons, functions, like just by like simple steps. As for the first part of my tutorial, this is it. As you can see, it's really easy to customize your phone controller. It only takes like few minutes. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make your own custom gamepad, kind of a structure to your phone controller. Hi everyone, now I'm going to start with the second part of the tutorial. Currently, when I was doing this tutorial, the Nreal phone controller doesn't support multi-touch. As you can see, I have added some stuff to the hierarchy and I'll go through each one of them. If I go to the scene view, I still have my character here, and the new one is I already add a new canvas to my hierarchy, and I'm gonna switch it on. And inside the canvas I have add the variable joystick. So if you go to your joystick pack, inside the prefab you have a variable joystick. I'll be using this joystick prefab and I have changed the name. And if I go to my new canvas, you can see that I have already arranged everything here. So I have like two joysticks, but I'm gonna be using only one for this tutorial. And I have some buttons set up. And if I go to my game view, you can see that I already have another UI canvas overlapping on top of my Nreal phone controller. So right now here I have changed it to portrait so I can see it properly. It was on free aspect before, so it's kind of confusing when you are in the free aspect. So for convenience, I have changed into the 190/20 portrait. So this size is gonna be relative to your phone display. So I already have these buttons already set up. So another important thing is like when you add a new canvas, it's gonna put a new event system. So when you first put your new canvas, you need to adjust your input system. For the first thing you have to do is you have to go to your package manager. Inside the package manager, under the Unity registry, you have to use this input system that comes with the Unity technologies. So first you have to also install this package, then you will be able to use it. And the next thing is you also have to configure under the build settings. If you go to the player settings, so under player, if you go to the other settings, after that you have to go to the active input handling and change into both. So then I will be able to use the new input system and also the Nreal input system. So after configure this, if you press play, you can see, you can check it, double check whether these joysticks are working or whether these buttons are working. And another thing is, like, when you put a new canvas, they're going to make the event system for that. Here you will be getting a message saying using the input system, and when you press the button, it's going to configure everything under the input system UI. The first thing I'm going to do is I need to add some stuff to the script. So if I go to my player controller, now it seems like there are a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you. I already add this stuff to my script. If I open my script, I already add some new variable joystick, also some floats. So I'm not gonna go through one by one. So if you want to add to your script, just go through this. You can pause it and check these variables and add it to your script. After that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my player controller, and what I'm gonna do is first make everything 0 in my player controller for now, and then I'm also gonna make my skeletal outlaw also 0. I'm also gonna change the rotation also to 0. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag and drop my skeletal outlaw into my player controller. And the next thing is, under the player controller, I'm gonna add the character controller. After that, you can see there is a small capsule. So if you can adjust this capsule to here, but it's not compulsory. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some stuff, like for example inside the player controller, I have joystick left, I have joystick right. So I'm gonna go to my gamepad and I'm gonna add these joystick left to joystick left and joystick right to joystick right. And here the speed variable is determined, like if you press your joystick, like how fast your character need to move. So for now I'm gonna give like 0.1, and then I have to configure my animator, my skeletal outlaw animator, because I need to add more animations to it. So the first animation would be the run animation. I'm going to go to the skeletal outlaw folder. Under the animation, there are like run animation. So I'm going to drag and drop here. So in here, I'm going to change the name to something simple. And so if I press my joystick, I need to, from idle to run, I have to change the animation. And if I stop moving, I have to go back to idle. So I'm going to make these two transitions. But if you can see inside my script, there is something called set bool is running. So I'm actually going to control my move animations through a parameter. So under the parameter, I'm going to add a new bool, and I'm going to name it exactly like the name that has inside the script. I'm going to change the name according to this name that is already present here. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to change this name into is running. And here, when I have in transition from idle to run, I'm going to change this transition condition into is running. And then I'm going to, if it's true, it's going to go to run animation. And also I'm going to add from run to idle, also I'm going to add a bool is running bool, and I'm going to make it false. So then I'm gonna go to my scene view and I'm gonna move my character away so I can see it from my view. I'm gonna rotate it. So if I move him, okay. And if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna press my play button, I can see my character. So now you have a overlapping UI. Your gamepad UI is here. So if I press my button, now it's moving. But there is a small problem right now. Like if I press it, like it's gonna take some time to play the animation. To fix that issue, I'm gonna go to animator. I'm gonna click these transitions and I'm gonna change this has exit time into false. I have to change both of the transition to false. And after that, I'm gonna press play. Now if I move my joystick, you can see that my character is moving. I'm gonna move my character a little bit down so I can see it properly. So the next thing is I'm gonna add this button press functions. For that, I'm gonna add some animations. So for that, I'm gonna pick from here. Like I have attack 0, attack 1, and attack 2. I'm gonna drag and drop these animations and I'm gonna arrange it. I'm gonna change these names. This one also here. So I'm gonna make transitions to idle, like whenever you finish, like whenever you finish clicking your button, it's gonna come back to idle. And the next thing is I'm gonna go to these buttons. I'm gonna add new events. I'm gonna click every buttons and I'm gonna add a new click event and I'm gonna drag my player controller into here. So here each one I'm gonna give some function. Button A, I'm gonna go to the player control 1 and I'm gonna do anim play. I can select everything and I can select the anim play string. And here I'm gonna give names. So the attack 2, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna put it here. Button X, attack 1, button Y, I'm also gonna use the jump animation. It's also same. I'm gonna make a transition to idle. I'm gonna change the name into simple, like jump 00. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna add it to the button P. So let's see if it's working or not. So I'm gonna press play. And if I press this button, see, it's gonna work. It's gonna execute each animation that I have assigned inside the button click events. Right now, if I build this, it's gonna be building with both of the UIs overlapping into your phone controller. So the display gonna contain those two. So I'm gonna make a switch button to switch between these two. So to do that, I'm gonna go, first I'm gonna hide this and I'm gonna go to my virtual displayer. I'm gonna go to the virtual controller. So I have custom buttons here. I'm gonna add a new button. So I'm gonna put this button like here in the corner. I'm gonna change the button image to something like a circle. Change sizes. I can arrange this button into can change the name. If you want, you can change the colors. I'm gonna make it like a red color. So now when I press this button, I'm gonna add a on-click function. I'm gonna drag and drop my gamepad here. So I'm gonna change it to like set active bool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it true, and also I'm gonna add another button to my gamepad. I'm gonna copy this button. I'm gonna reset these values. And arrange it at the top. So I'm gonna change the name and the color, make it green, maybe blue. Text to and here also I'm gonna add some functions. So when I press this button, I need to enable I have to enable the virtual displayer. So I'm gonna drag and drop the canvas of the phone controller to here, and then I'm gonna make it set active false. So just check these two buttons. So this one also, like when I press this button, it's gonna enable the gamepad. If I press this button, it's had to be enable this one. So the next one is like when I enable this, so I have to disable my own canvas. So I'm gonna add another event, drag and drop the gamepad, set active bool to false. Here also, when I press this button, I also have to hide my own phone controller. So I'm gonna false. So in the start, I need to disable my gamepad. Now I'm gonna press play button, and as you can see, now it's a little bit into the edge. I need to fix the position. So I have the button here. It's like if I press this button, it's gonna enable my joypad. So if I press this one, it's gonna enable my phone controller. In NR SDK, they have provide some options like the trigger profiler that allows you to see whether your app is performing well in your device. To do that, you have to go to your NR camera rig and enable trigger profile. If you set it true, and then when you play it, it won't come up immediately, but you have to press the app button 3 times. So it's going to pop up the profiler, and here you can see whether your app is performing well in your device. So if you want to get rid of it, just press the app button 3 times again. Hope you make awesome contents using NRSDK, and I'll see you next time.